To quote a certain reviewer of nostalgic things and of nostalgic people, it's Christmas! Yes, Christmas, my favorite time of the year. I may not be as bad as Craig when it comes to Christmas. To me, there's only three different holidays. That would be con season, Halloween, Christmas. And now that we passed those two and now we're into full on Christmas mode, I decided I'm going to get a little festive. That's right. This month, we are going to do nothing but a whole bunch of heartwarming Eve-centered pony fix, all for you. Starting with some of the weirders and maybe even some of the more heartwarming ones. Now, I know you might be wondering, but what about Luniverse? Well, do not worry, my dear readers. We will still do Luniverse. It's just that post busted and through the fire, not through the fireflies, when there's smoke, will actually be moved to this Saturday and Sunday, so that way you can still have your dose of watching Trixie go mad. Hey! And we will proceed to read the rest of our holiday treats. So let's see what my laptop's got for us today. This lovely fic from Defender 22. Happy Hearthwarming Eve. Hope you all enjoy. Happy Hearthwarming Eve, Twilight Sparkle, by Defender 22. Chapter 1. Equestria was used to many strange magical things. This was mainly due to the fact that it was situated on a rich deposit of magic buried deep within the bedrock of the planet. There were Pegasi, unicorns and Capricorns, griffins and dragons, and whatever the hell Mrs. Cake slept with to produce her twins, because it sure wasn't Mr. Cake, that's for sure. It had the gates of the underworld, and alicorn goddesses, and machines that could pick cold trees. Yes, it was quite a magical place, and as a result, many of those that knew it became quite jaded when it came to magic. But there was one thing that didn't exist in that magical world. Annoying talking snowmen with mustaches that played the banjo. They didn't exist mostly because the creator wasn't that cruel and would never create such a monster. Which is why it was weird when one suddenly stepped out of the Everfree and began to break the fourth wall like he was the love child of Pinkie Pie and Deadpool. If I live to be 100, I'll never forget the year Twilight Sparkle went insane. The snowman paused, his unblinking, unseeing eyes, because they were made of coal and not living things designed for seeing, staring at his audience before he reached out a hand to brush the snow from a tree, which was a bit disgusting. It would be like you finger painting with blood. Believe it or not, the world almost came to an end that year, and not because of some Mayan prophecy. The audience, expecting a story that dealt with ponies and not some fat snowman, merely stared at him and wondered if this was some kind of cruel joke. So am I. The snowman, getting the wrong idea from the other's silence, took off his hat and bowed. Oh, I'm sorry. Call me Sam. Clearly, this was a strange creature, as his name was a name, and not a series of random nouns strung together that just happened to be his special talent. Either ponies were psyche, lucky as heck, or cutie marks were Iron Will excrement. What's the matter? Never seen a talking snowman before? Sam asked, wiggling his fat bottom against the ground. Not waiting for an answer, he began to happily shuffle along the snow forest floor like Jabba the Hutt in those Star Wars films where Greedo shot first. Lovely place, this place. I call it Wigglesburg. Now, I know that ponies that live here call it Equestria, but I like Wigglesburg better. The audience was now desperately praying that the author's OC, Lord Tidal, would show up and brutally murder Sam. I'm praying too. Unfortunately for the audience, at that moment, Tidal was at his keep having sex with his wife, so he wouldn't be able to save them for at least another 4 chapters. Uh, I'm holding you to that, Defender. Uh, I love this heartwarming time of year, Sam said, not realizing that the audience was praying for a slow, painful death. Serious, Sam is so annoying. Him and that mailman that talks about Santa Claus can burn in hell! Especially when everything is round and happy and smooth like it is this season. Nothing like that year when Twilight Sparkle embraced her heritage, became Nightmare Moon Jr. I don't know what would have done if we hadn't. Sam blinked. Wait, could it be that some of you don't know the story? Well, of course they didn't. The chapter had only been posted up a few minutes ago, and the author only started reading as of 9:45. God, Sam is a moron. Of course, what do you expect when your brain is made out of yellow snow? Well, pull up an ice block, and I'll tell you the tale. It all started in a little town called Ponyville. I never actually get a chance to do bird eyes. Winter had come, and within the next few months, fall would arrive, because apparently the seasons run backwards in Equestria. But the reversed ecosystem wasn't on the mind of one particular unicorn pony who was, at that very moment, focused slowly on the magic that is Heartwarming Eve. No, 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 Twilight exclaimed, running around the library like a crazy pony, which was different how he normally ran about. Then she was acting like a nutty pony. Behind her, caught in the glow of magic, was a maelstrom of books, scrolls, letters, and quills. This isn't good! This isn't good at all! The cloud of research equipment only grew bigger with each passing moment. The magical aurora absorbing anything that got in the way. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Above the panicking unicorn, Alice and Pee-wee watched, their eyes bouncing back and forth like ping-pong balls as they attempted to track the lavender pony's movements. What are we going to do, Allie? The baby phoenix chirped. Alice's frowned. Well, we could fly down there, and I hope to help my power master and thus get sucked up into the chaos as Twilight sparkles life. Pee-wee grimaced. Nah, don't want to do that. Neither do I, little one, which is why I suggest we ignore the path of valor and go the path of passing the buck. The baby phoenix considered this before nodding happily. You want me to go get Daddy? Yes, I believe that would be the wisest idea. Okie dokie. Pee-wee flapped over to the basket his daddy was sleeping in, and, after considering his options, pet the dragon on the head. Wake up, 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 wake up! Spike jolted away. I didn't come in, you rarity, I swear! He slurred. Shaking his head, he tried to get the naughty images out of his head. The baby dragon looked up at the happy face of his pet bird. It was chirping and dancing along the baby dragon's skull. Ugh, Pee-wee, what is... Why? Twilight screamed, the sound of her head slamming into a table, echoing up to where Spike laid. This is the revenge, people, for those of you who remember last week's fic. She's lost it, hasn't she? Pee-wee nodded his head. That's what? 3 days? The dragon trotted over to his day calendar and double-checked his notes. Yep! 3 days! Great. Just great. Pee-wee chirped, hopping off Spike's shoulder as the baby dragon stomped out of the bedroom and down the stairs. Things had only gotten worse in the main part of the library. Now an entire shelf was following Twilight. Her magic reorganized it so all the books and scrolls were in alphabetical order. Where did I leave that? Twilight! Spike shouted. The loud escalation startled the unicorn as she dropped off the shelf with a bang, causing all the books and scrolls to rain down on them like one of the plagues of old. One of the lesser ones that they tend not to talk about. Twilight, calm down. I'm calm, Twilight said, sounding anything but. I mean, I'm only early doomed, so who's to worry? Just doomed. Doomed! Spike rubbed his temples. You could have waited another 3 days to freak out again, he muttered himself. Now I lost the betting pool and own Rainbow Dance 3 bets. Oh, what now? Twilight said. Nothing! Spike said with a smile. I said nothing. Are you? Nothing! Spike sighed. He took a deep breath before grabbing up in Twilight's head. Now, do you remember that relaxation technique the princess taught you? Of course, Twilight said quickly. I just haven't, well, why don't we try it now, okay? Twilight hung her head. Fine. She closed her eyes and intoned. Celestia, grant me the strength to accept those problems I cannot solve, the willpower to fix those I can, and a liquor cabinet full of booze when I begin to freaking out like a crazy mare. You know, things in Equestria made a lot more sense now that we know Princess Celestia's a us. Yeah, Twilight said with a weak smile. Thanks, Spike. I feel better now. Good. Now, why don't you lay down and tell me exactly what had you in a panic? Did some pony try to resurrect Nightmare Moon and ended up creating a black filly by mistake? No. Twilight said, laying down on the couch. Not that would be a problem. Next popping up in a Defender fic and having a character role would be awesome. Is Piggy murdering ponies and turning into the cupcakes? No, and ew. Spike grabbed a brush and began to comb his friend's hair. Did you discover a book that turns you into an anthro whenever you become aroused? Spike, you should be laying down. I think you're the one with problems. Did you discover discover some sort of chemical that turns you into an alicorn, and you're planning on testing it with Trixie, but instead you and two other unicorns are going to become a goddess, and a really awesome unicorn OC is going to have to stop you by grabbing the Black Book and nuking you to Kingdom Come? Spike, you've been reading the wrong books, haven't you? The baby dragon waved her off. Okay, those are the worst things I could think of. So, why did you tell me what's wrong? Twilight sighed, her eyes half shut as she focused on the comb running through her mane. Just stressed about Heartwarming Dave. Why would you be stressed about that? Heartwarming's great! There's food, presents, and laughs, and planning, and preparing, and stopping of near disasters! Twilight whimpered. It's like 100 files, but they've mutated into a mutant zombie files that hunt you down and want to feast on your happiness! Why is it when I bring up zombies you laugh? Twilight ignored her friend. There's just so much to be done. Twilight looked away from her friend, signaling the invisible music that always played whenever a pony wanted to express themselves in song. Seriously, what is up with that? Twilight began to sing. You know, I didn't used to sing this much before I started reading Defender's work. Give me snow, light up the trees, deck every hall and wall you can see, roast every nut, mistletoe. This needs to be the best heartwarming since the original. 20,000 years from now, they'll say the most successful heartwarming was today. Spike blinked as Twilight finished. She somehow managed to end up on the top of the bookcase she had been carrying around, and had the same look on her face that Pinkie had whenever she sung her Sakura song. That was great, Twilight. But don't you think you're putting too much pressure on yourself? I mean, why does Heartwarming Day have to be so wonderful anyway? Why can't it be super, or special, or awesome? It needs to be all three, Spike! It needs to be super, special, awesome! Twilight flopped back onto the couch and groaned. Ugh, Spike, this is going to be my first Heartwarming Day that I am hosting! Spike mentally cursed. He had completely forgotten that little detail and mentally scolded himself for the lapse. Had he remembered, he would have arranged for some business at Canterlot and avoided Twilight until the holiday was well over, like in 3 or 4 months. That would have been a safe distance. Twilight sighed, taking out her photo album. Every mare in my family has been hosting a Heartwarming Day celebration, and each of them has been perfect. Twilight stared at a photo of a slightly plump lavender mare with white hair, like my Grandma Twilight Twinkle's parties. Why do I hear a harp? And why is everything getting fuzzy? Oh, look at these little cooties! Twilight Twinkle cooed, pinching Twilight Sparkle's cheek. The foal merely stared at her grandmother, wondering who this large pony was, and what was the acceptable attitude for her to take. Is it polite for me to soil oneself in front of this mare? Baby Twilight thought. Let me pinch those little cheeks. You have your mommy's cheeks. Twilight gurgled, scrunching up her nose as her grandmother did so. Mother, can I talk to you? Twilight Velvet called out. Of course, my dear. Twinkle looked around, before handing Twilight a dictionary that was laying around. There, you go. Have fun with that. The foal giggled, and began to tear out the pages. Spike looked around in panic. How was I able to see that? See what? Twilight said. Your memory. That made no sense. I wasn't even born, yet I saw it as clear as day. What is happening in my brain? Twilight ignored her assistant's panic attack. And then there were the parties my mom threw. Ah! There's that harp again! Not so many years ago. Shining, could you ask your father to get me the potato peeler? Sure thing, Mom, the little colt said, trotting over to his father. Twilight tuned her family out, as he had more pressing matters, namely, the new books he had gotten that morning for Heartwarming Dave. She giggled, flipping through the pages. Well, look who has her nose stuck in a book again, Grandma Twinkle asked, walking over to Twilight. What are you reading? El Chapois, Twilight said with a laugh. See, the author thinks that the equestrian nation is white, but he forgot to carry the ring. Twinkle smiled, pinching her grandfather's streak. You're such a smart one. Oh, Celestia, I think I'm having a stroke. Twilight lost her memories. Peter so mean. And then, just last year, Shining had the Heartwarming Day meal. Please, don't! Twilight, Spike's cried as the harp began to play again. I think the blood is coming out of my ears. No, wait, that's raspberry jam. Why is there raspberry jam in my ears? Shining, this is amazing, Twilight said in delight, looking around the ballroom of Canterlot Castle. As captain of the Royal Guard, Shining had been able to pull a few strings and get the ballroom ready for his family's annual heartwarming party. I mean, wow! Ah, it's nothing, Shining said, rubbing the back of his neck. Twilight, Grandma Twinkle said, trying up and pinching her cheeks, you are just getting so big! You always say that, Twilight said with a laugh. She reached for a cookie, only for Shiny to take it away and present her a tin with her favorite treats. Brownies! Well, yeah, we figured just this once, Shiny said, as Twilight sunk her teeth into one. The entire family grimaced as Twilight's face began to contort and twist like it always did when she ate a brownie. Spike slowly pulled himself from where he had fallen, a puddle of jam under his scaly head. Are the flashbacks over? He whimpered. What's that, Spike? I wasn't paying attention. The baby dragon rolled his eyes. So, you're all panicky because you're hosting the party? It's not a party, Spike. It's Heartwarming Day, the most important day for my family. It has to be perfect, and that is why I am stressed out. Is it the point of a holiday not to stress out? Twilight waved him off. Now, I have a lot I need to go over for a few days. I need to go get the pots and pans from Applejack and check on the cake I placed at Sugar Cube. And then I want to stop by and see if Rarity's got my mom's gift done. And I can't forget visit Fireside Rainbow Dash. Oh, then the door slammed behind Twilight as she left Spike behind, her mind already in the world as he trolls away. Well, we're all going to die, Spike murmured, just like the llamas predicted. Yes, this was a very important day for Twilight Sparkle, Sam said, shuffling about the snow-capped Everfree, and, due to his bulk, was sweating up a storm, or melting, neither of which made sense. It would be her first heartwarming deed, where she herself got to host a fake festive party. Her family had always planned these parties down to the last detail, and every one she had gone to during her fillyhood had been filled with music and laughter and joy. She was not about to be the first to break tradition, and thus she was focused on her goal. Luckily for Twilight, she had plenty of friends in Ponyville. She planned to seek out their advice on how she could pull off the best holiday ever. Sam pulled out a banjo and gave it a few strums. Now, I wrote a little song about Twilight's journey to the Applejack's house. Why don't you sit down and have a listen? Sam strummed his instrument. That's what she said. Well, that's when the anvil fell on. Sorry! Derpy called out, flaring down, grabbing the gift-wrapped anvil, which Scootaloo's mother, Grace, had ordered for her husband/Scoot's father, Quick Cut. You okay, Mr. Snowman? Never better. Plop! Sam said dizzily, before collapsing in a heap. Twilight trotted along the lane that led to Sweet Apple Acres, admiring the fresh powder that blanketed the fields. Okay, so I have my checklist of all the different pots and pans I need, categorized by color, size, and number of handles. I also have my backup checklist in case I lose this one, my backup for my backup, and of course a checklist to keep track of all my checklists. Twilight pursed her lips and thought, maybe I should have had a backup for the checklist of checklists. She pulled out her notebook of good ideas, patent pending, and quickly jotted down that idea for further research and development. Clearly, there was a stick up Twilight's butt, and that stick had a checklist too. Twilight smiled as she made her way over the hill, and finally laid her eyes on the Apple family's farmhouse. There was something about the old building that spoke to the little romantic side of the mare. Yes, she did have a romantic side, despite what Spike thought. Just because she had once considered reproducing asexually didn't mean she wasn't looking for a nice stallion who thought sex was something you did once every 34 months or so. It was more than just a rustic charm that seemed to cling to each weather-worn board. There was something magical about the house that called out to her. It's because of who lives there, Twilight said to herself, with a gentle smile, thinking of the family. Applejack and her family have so much love for each other that it spills over and permeates the entire house. Love, it would seem, was much like mold, in that it wormed its way into the walls and made them weak. That was the only explanation for why Twilight could find part of the upstairs wall suddenly bursting apart. Twilight let out a scream, tossing up a shield as a large red chair flew right over her. Bits of wood rained down on the unicorn, and snow became dirty with splinters. She panted and looked around with wide eyes, only to see the red chair wasn't a chair at all, but Big Macintosh. Kurt leaped into a field position.
By Celestia!
Twilight cried out, dropping her force field and hurrying over to him, checking his stallion for injuries.
Are you alright?
Oh, Mama, I don't want to be fed Granny Oats while she's in the bathtub.
Okay.
Twilight said slowly, unsure how to respond to that strange statement. She shook the stallion, was staring up the sky with swirly eyes, which was a rare medical condition that affected colorful ponies and black ducks with speech impairments.
Come on, wakey wakey if you're next time breaking!
After several moments, the massive stallion was able to shake himself out of his stupor, and he got up on his feet. Seeing that Twilight was been watching his brain out of ramblings, Big Mac flushed, and his coat went so dark he looked like a bruised apple. Author's note: I am so sorry for that punny simile. And they say that the only people that like puns go to Ivy League school. Hence, the whole saying, using a pun, go to Yale. He made a move to trot away, but Twilight quickly moved to stand in front of him, blocking his path.
Big Macintosh, what happened?
Nothing.
Twilight pursed her lips, and gave him the look all mares seem to be skilled in. It was a look that made all stallions tremble and feel like foals.
Big Macintosh?
Easy through me.
Twilight's ears wrinkled.
Can you repeat that? I think I had some crazy in my ear. Did you say that Applejack threw you?
Yup,
The farmer said.
Applejack, the pony that loves family more than anything. The pony that takes such pride in all of you. The pony that threatened to beat up Barry Punch when she overheard her complimenting your flank.
Yup.
Pull the other one, Twilight stated. Big Mac opened his mouth to protest, only to cringe as Applejack bellowed so loud that birds 3 miles took flight. Amazingly enough, a few badgers did too.
Big brother, you lazy colt! Get your humbug in here, you hear me?
I'll need to go,
Big Macintosh said meekly, lowering his head and shuffling back toward the house. A little Pegasus pony version of Twilight appeared on the mare's right shoulder, starting a heart.
You must follow after him, Twilight. Find out what has caused your friend to treat her family in such a way. This close to the holidays, she should be showing them only love and respect.
Twilight looked over to her left shoulder.
Isn't there supposed to be a little evil version of me that tells you to do the bad thing?
Meanwhile, and Canterlot.
That's right, little pigeon.
Little evil Twilight said, coaxing over to the overly stuffed bird towards Discord's statue.
Come on. I know all that still suffering her I fed you makes your tummy hurt, but I have the perfect potty for you. Swing out, sweet chariot, come and pull the carabine home.
Apple Bloom said as he calmly kinged the hallway.
Swing low, sweet chariot.
The filly was half caked in dust, and there was a feather duster tied to her tail. A broom handle attached to the saddlebags she wore that dragged along behind her, and a pair of mop heads that were attached to her hind legs as she scrubbed the hard wood.
What the heck is going on here?
Twilight practically exclaimed, staring at the filly in horror. All the light that had gone out of Apple Bloom's eyes as he moved more like a puppet than a living creature. She lost track of Big Macintosh, but the poor stallion's plight was forgotten in the face of the utterly miserable and broken Apple Bloom.
What happened here?
Apple Bloom continued to clean up, never looking up. Apple Bloom, she said, lifting the filly's head up so she could look her into her eye.
Apple Bloom, can you hear me? I puts the lotion on the skin or gets the hose again,
Apple Bloom said dully, her works robotic.
I don't understand. It puts the lotion on the skin or else it gets the hose in the skin.
I heard you. I just don't...
Put the apple picking lotion in the basket!
Apple Bloom screamed in fright. Twilight leapt away, panting as Apple Bloom went back to cleaning.
Well, what happened here? Is this going back? Were you all replaced by changelings? Did you eat some of Rainbow Dash's mood stabilizers?
Rainbow Dash's powerful pills? Applejack asked as he trotted into the hall. Unlike the rest of her family, Applejack looked completely normal. Well, save for the slightly manic look in her eye that spoke of death and destruction to all that got in her way. But, hey, who hasn't that look in her eye?
I was being sarcastic. Have you seen Rainbow Dash? If that is her on pills, I hate to see her off them.
Twilight walked over to Applejack and gave her friend an awkward smile.
So, what are you doing?
This by cleaning, Applejack said, Expecting a pot, Apple Bloom was fancying. Good work, Apple Bloom.
I'll work and no play. But Apple Bloom a dull feeling.
They'll see they'll slate down those things once they sleep deprived, Applejack said, turned and marched towards the kitchen. Twilight fastened her heels. The cowboy led her friend to the room, which was a sparkling, no, so brilliant Twilight felt like she was staring at Celestia's sun after getting her pupils dilated. So, I got the pots you asked for, and I just want to make sure I grant them all. Applejack, what's going on? Dave McIntosh was thrown through a wall, and your sister's acting like a zombie! Applejack scoffed. They have weak-willed little fools just around the queens. This is just a total cleaning of our house before the rest of the family rests. Ain't nothing weird about that. Granny Smith is wearing a diaper! Twilight shouted, pointing at the elderly green mare, who was asleep in her rocker, an overly large diaper strapped to her flank. Who decided this was easier than creating her? More cost-effective as well. Twilight grabbed her friend and shook her violently. AJ! Leota? Applejack said with a shrug. What the hey is going on? We're just... Are you clean like it's the end of the world? Twilight shouted, the power of her voice so great, and not to hack from her friend. Shucks, Twilight! I would wager you of all ponies will get it. I mean, you're going through the same thing I am. Applejack, I'm beginning to lose my patience. The farmer sighed, slipping out of her grip. I just want everything looking perfect before our family gets here. She walked over to Granny Smith, wiped out the bit of drool that was leaking from the old mare's mouth. I don't know I'm getting moody and pressing every pony a bit too much. You put to make Macintosh to a wall! But what's most important is that when my cousins and uncles and uncles come walking through these doors, they are left with their jaws on the floor. Twilight walked over to her friend, wrapped a foreleg around her, sympathy shining in her eyes. Listen, I get it. I've been panicking about making sure everything looks perfect at the library. I want my party to be the best, and so do you. We were cleaning like mad, but we're forgetting that heartwarming is all about. I ain't interested in being perfect. I just want to rub my clean house in their noses. Twilight's tongue opened, her train of thought completely derailed. The thought train derailment was truly horrible. 15 ideas was dead, and it would cost 120 brain cells to repair the damage. You what? Applejack marched over to her sink and began to inspect it with a critical eye. I want all my family to come in here, see how clean and beautiful my house is, and be so jealous they're fuming from their ears and rage. You want your family to feel rage? Heck yeah, I want them to hate my guts. Applejack! Well, it's the truth. They're going to be walking around here, inspecting every little crack and tip and pointing out all the flaws. I want to have all those taken care of, so they're walking around like idiots and forced to admit that my house is a billion times better than theirs. Applejack got up on her stove and began to clean behind the light bulbs, scrubbing each one and cleaning them like they were false. Oh, everybody's going to be wishing that they were my family, and they had a lovely house as I do. The lavender unicorn just stared at her friends, eyes bugging out of her skull. I can't believe I'm hearing this. Applejack, you love your family so much. How can you be thinking this? This isn't you. You don't want to turn your family into slaves just to make your house clean and your cousins go mad. Applejack shook her head and laughed. Try, don't worry. Any hope the mayor had that her farmer friend was going to reveal this was all a gag died with Applejack's next words. It isn't just the house that I'm going to be using in this war. What? Applejack nodded, hurrying over to a filing cabinet in the home office and pulling out graphics and charts. Each one listed the profits for Sweet Apple Acres, and the pages were filled with blank ink and dollar signs. I'm going to leave this out so they can see how rich we are. Woo-wee! Now, so Cousin Braybird, he'll be so mad he can spit. And that boy sure do live to spit! Twilight felt as if her world had slowly been ripped out of orbit and was now hurtling toward a black hole. I can't believe you're going to these slaves just to show off your family! You ain't? Applejack said with a frown. At Twilight's head shake, the farm pony let out a sigh of pity. Oh, Twilight, you are so screwed. Huh? You honestly don't think all your family's going to be judging you? Why do you think they want you to have this party? Because I asked to do it? Because I want to show I could put out a great party? But this isn't a competition? Well, that much is true. I mean, it's going to be hard to beat your brother. He's married to a princess and his wife, and him run the whole empire. And even before that, he was captain of the guard. Norsmere pondered. I suppose you might stand a chance if you remind everybody how powerful you are. Maybe you should hang up some of them articles they wrote about you when we defeated Nightmare Moon. Or hey, did Princess Leslie ever give you a medal for something? You could wear that around your neck. Make it super shiny, and always tilt it so the light bounces into your brother's eyes. That would beat him! Applejack's whining as a new thought struck her. Shoot, I'll bet they announced they're having a baby! Twilight sputtered, choking slightly. What? Think about it, Twilight. If your brother wants to beat you and prove he's going to be the best, he's going to need to make your mama and daddy a granny and grampy. Applejack stomped her hoof. That no good stallion. I'll bet he's riding with the princess right now, trying to put butter in her tart just so he got a full grown on her when they arrive. Then all your hard work will be for nothing. Applejack gave Twilight a sinister smile that had the unicorn backing away in fright. But I know how to fix them. Big brother, get out of here! Big Macintosh raced in the room, a feather duster in his teeth and a rug on his back. Yup, you and Twilight need to get married right now! What? Twilight screamed. Think about it, Twi. Applejack said in almost maniac gleam in her eye. This'll help both of us out. You and Mike could get married and he could put a fold in your belly, and then we both will have something else to brag about at our parties. Oh, AJ, I'm kinda sore from dusting and I have a big headache and Big Mac whined. Move on for now! Applejack roared, grabbing Big Mac and shoving him towards the unicorn. You might hear a bang like a sun till she's found with an apple hole! Twilight walked behind Granny Smith and yanked her out of her chair, pointing her diaper reared at the clearly insane Applejack. This thing is loaded! You back off right now, or I will make this place really dirty and smelly! Applejack threw her hose. Okay, I'll give. Twilight went alongside. Didn't realize you weren't into stallions. No problem. You and I can hit and get adopted. That'll work too. Now, I ain't gay, but I'll let you do stuff to me. Twilight's magic flared out, warping her into pots of pins away. What are you doing standing around like that? There is destiny to do!